Hey guys, welcome back to episode 5 of Press Play with Tristan and Stefani. Stephanie, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited. I can't believe it's episode 5 already.
Yeah, episode 5. We've been at this for about a month now.
Jeez.
This is awesome. So, today is going to kick off a series of episodes. We're going to be talking about our Eurotrip. We went to Europe in 2017, where, spoiler alert, I ended it by proposing to Stephanie in Greece. But we're going to start from, like, right before we left. We managed to find round-trip tickets from Orange County Airport to Amsterdam. So we
rather
didn't
than
have to,
LAX.
Yeah, because that would have been a nightmare. So we avoided LAX. We flew out of Orange County, which is much closer to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we flew from here to Minneapolis.
Yep.
But I remember as soon as I got out of the car at the airport, because it was an early flight, your parents dropped us off. I gave your mom a hug. She hugged me extra tight because she knew that I was going to propose.
She knew.
And the look on her face,
oh gosh,
when I turned around, she had the biggest cheese because she knew what was going to happen.
Good thing I didn't see it or I didn't catch it.
Yeah, she probably would have given it away. Hey, shout out to Stephanie's mom for not giving it away. Shout out to you for not looking back.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, amazing that we flew out of Santa Ana.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, after the whole trip, as tired as we were, did we really want to fly into LAX and be stuck in traffic on the way home?
Because the amount of people that are just at LAX compared to Santa Ana, and the just going through the security and trying to find your gate. There's 10 gates at Santa Ana.
Yeah.
So
it's
easy.
Just too stressful to fly out of LAX, even if you're staying within the States. Pass.
No.
But anyway, to the trip. So we flew from Orange County to Minneapolis. We had a 3 or 4 hour layover there.
Yeah, that was so weird. It was so long.
Really long. And I think we sat in the same spot the entire time, just waiting. And the wait is twice as long because you're about to go.
I was just gonna say
trip.
Ugh.
So it seemed like forever, but eventually we boarded the plane. It was a pretty big plane. I'm a fan of big planes. And
I remember you got on your phone.
Oh, God.
This was your first cultural experience on your way to Europe.
Okay, so when you say get on your phone, tell the whole story. So it was about 2 or 3 hours in. We were over the Atlantic already. This is a 10-hour flight, so maybe 4 hours in. And I picked up my phone and I realized I had a missed call from my dad. And I know he didn't call me on the ground because I would have answered it, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I am connected to the Wi-Fi.
And you nerded out and you got excited that you could be on a phone call in the air.
Yeah, and well, technically I couldn't, but I learned the hard way. But I guess Wi-Fi calling was somewhat new then. I'm like, oh, so if I'm on the Wi-Fi, I can make a call, right? Because I'm not on tower service, and I shouldn't be messing around with air traffic control. Well,
yeah, then our favorite flight attendant came down, saw you on the phone, and in his very thick, very stern, very serious German accent said to you, "Get off your phone."
And no, he was way more aggressive than that.
He was.
You were really nice. The way he said it, it scared the hell out of me, and I was in my shell for the next half hour because I was scared and very embarrassed. But he saw me. He came up behind us, right, and he saw me on the phone with my dad. He was like, "Get off your phone," or he said something to that effect. But it was a lot meaner.
Yes.
And so I felt horrible. And then the funny part about it is that maybe a couple hours later I had to get up and use the bathroom. So I was waiting outside the lavatory and he came back there.
Lavatory.
He was bathroom, lavatory. Come on. When you travel me, you know all the terms. You know what I'm saying? So I was waiting to get into the lavatory. And he came up to me. He was like, "Wow, I like your shoes." And I was like, "Thanks." He's like, "Yeah, where'd you get them?" I'm like, American Outfitters. He was like, "I really want a pair. I think I might get some." I'm like, "Cool,
He's
thanks."
all being nice to you.
And I was like, "Okay, well, it made me feel better." It made me feel a lot better because I thought he was still going to be mad at me, and I thought I was going to get put on the no-fly list or something.
Oh my gosh!
So that was weird, but it made me feel a lot better. So, again, 10-hour flight. Finally, we land in Amsterdam Schiphol. Is that how you say it? Schiphol Airport or something like that.
Something like that.
Schiphol,
I think it was
Schiphol.
What, 2 o'clock when we landed or something?
No, it was in the morning.
Oh, was it?
It was definitely in the morning. I want to say we got there at like maybe 10 or 11, but I know it was the morning time. Because I remember like, you know how dawn looks?
Yeah.
It looked like that.
Okay.
I vividly remember that. So we catch the train to the city, and then from there we catch the tram. So apparently the train ticket doesn't work for the tram, and we didn't know any better.
Yeah, I don't remember being like it being very clear where to buy your ticket, how to get on it, like how to pay for it.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that. It was very confusing.
So we ended up boarding the tram, which with what we thought was a valid ticket, and the guy was like, "No, this isn't going to work." But as he was telling us that,
sitting like looking to the left, to the right, like, where do we pay? Like how do we
what
get
do
on
we do?
it?
And as we're trying to get off, he just starts going. I'm like, okay. I feel like I'm breaking the law right now, but I didn't tell you to hit
the back of the train.
Yeah, we went to the very back, like where the second door is, and then we finally got to where the stop we needed to get off on. Mm-hmm. And
I don't think we knew how to open the door.
I guess you had to like hit a button or something.
Yeah. I think someone came from behind us and like put their hand through us, and they were like, "Open the door!" and they like pushed the button to open the door.
Either they were trying to get off, or they saw how frantic we were trying to get off. And where we got off, we thankfully got off at the right spot.
Yeah. Because
our hotel was like a 2-minute walk away, and it ended up being like it was a small hotel, but it was really swanky.
Yeah.
And it was like a cafe inside, like a cafe or restaurant or something like that.
This was your first hostel, right?
The hostel was in Barcelona.
Oh, okay, so that was
this was still like an actual hotel. You're getting way ahead of us right now. No, it's all good. So I remember we again checked in, and we passed out for a while because we still had plans. Once we got there, we were going to go do the Heineken Tour and a boat tour through the Amsterdam canals.
Mm-hmm. Got to make the best of it.
Yeah. We were tired, but like, you know, we're those type of people, like, we're here. We have to do this. We might as well, no matter how we feel. Right? So we went to the Heineken Museum, and what happened?
I remember somebody was telling us, "Oh, did you buy the tickets for the boat and the Heineken?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay, well, if you want to get on the boat right now, it's leaving right now." And we're like, "Wait, do we do the Heineken? Do we do the boat? Which one do we do?" And so we just got on the boat because it was leaving right then and there. And I think they were trying to catch people.
Yeah. And I want to say we got to the museum at 4:30 and the boat left at 5.
Okay.
So we ended up doing the tour. We left at 5. Toured the canals. It was really, really pretty seeing all the buildings and all the bikes and the bikes in the water.
Right. The rusty water.
The water was actually really, really gross.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have dipped my feet into that
No?
water.
Come on.
No, it's gross, but it was something on my bucket list to like get on the boat and ride through the Amsterdam canals.
Yeah.
It was really fun going through under the tunnels and all that.
Yep.
And people were like taking pictures of us from the sidewalk. But it was a really fun tour, and we ended up stopping at a restaurant. So we got to the restaurant at like 6, and we're like, okay. I asked the tour guide, and I was like, does this boat go back to the Heineken? He's like, no. And I was like, well, we need to get back there for the tour. He said, well, they close at 7. And
I just remember being so sad because I really wanted to get into that Heineken.
Me too. Yeah, that was like the number one recommendation that everyone gave us once we got to Amsterdam was, oh, just make sure you do the Heineken tour.
Right.
So we're not going to eat dinner and be at the Heineken Museum in an hour. It's just not going to happen. So we just ended up eating dinner. And
it was a really cool spot, though. It was a super tall building. You could go up to the top of the building. It was like a rooftop.
Yeah, and it had like a 360 view of the entire city. But let's talk about the elevator.
Oh, man.
The elevator.
So typical, like, European.
It was lit. Just
with
techno
like
music.
All different colors going in.
Lasers and lights flying all over the place, and the elevator just shot up.
We were in the club.
We were. Club Ellie. That was lame, wasn't it?
Yes.
Whatever.
Oh, gosh.
So, had dinner, had wine. Typical of me. I hadn't brought my Horizon at this time.
Oh, my gosh.
So
You got a burger.
it was a really thick burger. It was the thickest burger I've ever seen, so it was still different. Burgers and fries. And then they had the nerve to give me mayonnaise to dip my fries in. And I'm like, no, give me some ketchup.
Over there in Amsterdam, it was like this like ketchup mayonnaise, wasn't
Trash.
it? It was good.
Trash.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. anywhere you walk around there, like you dip your fries in mayo.
Trash.
It was good.
It was gross.
You're so psycho.
No thanks. And you had the soup of the day, which was like purple with like some green stuff in it.
Cuisine.
But you said it tasted good.
It was really good.
Nice. Good.
With some salad, and we had some good wine.
Really
some
good
white wine.
I typically don't like wine, but this wine was good, I guess.
Yeah.
So, ended our trip there. Well, ended our time in Amsterdam there. There was one little tidbit, though, about the city when it came to the bikes.
Oh, yeah. So, apparently there's more bikes than people in Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard. And based off all the bikes I saw, I believe it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing like a whole, like, it looked like a building, but it was just a giant bike rack where people would store their bikes. It was enormous.
Right.
There had to be thousands of bikes on this huge storage rack or whatever it is.
And I also remember just walking the city, and if you didn't realize you're in the bike lane, like, they
you
don't
would
give
get
a
hit.
like they will, run you over.
There was a lot, just like any major city, there was a lot of foot traffic in Amsterdam, foot traffic, trams, cars, but because it's, of course, like it's not situated how the states are, like you just don't know what's coming where and when.
Right.
It's very confusing. It's almost like a maze. I'm sure people that live there are used to it, but for us, it was just different.
And for me, what's a little confusing about like the map of Amsterdam is that it's kind of in like a U. So you have like this U, and the cities go out from the U rather than like the grid system here.
Yeah. And there's
most of the cities.
I guess that within that U is all the different streams, all the canals.
So you take one wrong street and you're like off like by like 40 degrees.
And you gotta go like all the way back. It's kind of like 285 for all my Atlanta friends. If you miss an exit on 285, you're screwed. You gotta go all the way back around.
I could imagine.
Yeah. The last thing we did, we went to the infamous Amsterdam sign in front of that museum.
Oh yeah, that was
we got our selfies in on that. And I did like a time lapse.
You have to go there.
I heard that's not there anymore. I heard they like.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I heard they took that down.
Wow, that's been up for like
forever.
15 years.
I want to say I read an article saying that they took it down. I guess there's two of them. They took both of them down, but everyone was up in arms about the one in front of the museum specifically.
Wow, that's crazy.
Which is sad, but I'm glad we got there when we did.
Yep.
So a common theme that you guys are going to notice throughout these next few episodes is that we took a lot of early flights.
Oh, yes.
A ton of early flights.
Why? Like when you're on vacation, the last thing you want to do is wake up early.
Yeah.
But you have to.
Yeah, because I think what our plan was, one, we didn't really expect how tired we would be midway through the trip. And our logic was, let's get to these cities as early as we can so we can have most of the day together to spend there.
Right, because we're only spending 3 days in a city.
Yeah, we never stayed more than 2 days in a city, so there was a lot of unpacking and packing over and over again. Ooh. It was gnarly.
Those backpacks.
But I know my shoulders hurt just thinking about it. But so we wake up early that morning and we get on our flight. We flew Vueling.
Oh, you remember that?
Yes,
okay.
Vueling Airlines or Vueling Air or whatever. And we went to Barcelona.
Yeah.
And I remember landing there, like getting close to the airport. You could see the beaches and you could see all the buildings and stuff. It was a really cool experience landing there.
Yeah. Do you remember the bus ride from the airport to the hostel, seeing the arenas on the way?
Yeah, I do. I think we took a taxi.
Was it a taxi? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely took a taxi because I remember getting like B-roll out of the taxi.
Oh, yeah.
But I do remember we passed by like one of the bull rings, and we also passed by like a soccer stadium.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
FC Barcelona.
Exactly. FC. I was just about to say that. Yeah. So Barcelona, we got there, I would say like late afternoon, maybe a little, like I would say like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Early afternoon, late afternoon, whatever you want to call it. And we checked into our hostel. Now, this is where we stayed at. It was my first hostel.
Yeah.
And it was what you would have expected it to be. It was really small, kind of dingy, hardwood floors.
But to be honest, my opinion of a hostel before I went to one, it was a lot worse. Like I imagined hostels as being like shared bunks, like lockers, like
no.
And I did that with Jenny, but this was like just a super small hotel to me, and like a dingy, and they don't have curtains or like doors for the showers.
Yeah.
And so it's just like this little square. You're like,
they had like a
trying to
they had like a glass like a small glass panel
Oh,
for
yeah.
a door.
Yeah.
And then they had, this is my first time seeing a bidet.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever use it?
No.
Okay.
I'm good on that. But yeah, there was a bidet, and then the view was just spectacular. It was a view of a building like 5 feet away from our window.
It was basically the inside of like the entire building.
Yeah.
So it's
Just
everyone
outside,
else's windows.
But you look up and you see the sky, and that's it.
And maybe some clotheslines.
Yeah. So again, we checked in, and then we ended up just going to walk around and explore the city a little bit.
Yeah, that first day I think we went to Las Ramblas, right?
It was the second day we went to Las Ramblas. But I do remember going to where that like water fountain area was, that huge water fountain, and we saw a lot of people selling stuff on blankets out there.
Yeah.
You can explain that better than me.
Well, yeah, so there were a lot there. I don't remember the blankets specifically in that plaza, but I do remember them on Las Ramblas.
Okay. I remember seeing a couple. I think that the second day there were a lot more out there because we were out there doing like high time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically people have their blankets and there's a rope kind of sewn into the bottom of the blanket. And so on top of the blanket, they'll have like, you know, if they're selling little trinkets, little like wallets or jewelry or whatever. But if they see the police come or they hear the police come, they grab the rope and they just pull it, and it like they throw it over their shoulder, and it turns into this like duffel bag, and they can just like book it and run.
Dude, they were selling all kinds of stuff. You said wallets, and like they were selling wallets, jewelry, necklaces, toys, bubble guns. I remember there were a lot of bubble guns there, and they were also like I don't know what they're called, but you shoot those things up in the air. They go up really
little,
high,
like torpedo toy things,
and they spin down. But that's a tactic.
They're trying to get you to look up so they can pickpocket you.
They're notorious for that over there. But thankfully, we didn't get pickpocketed because we had those fanny packs that go underneath your shirt.
Oh yeah. That
held our passports and credit cards and all that.
Yes.
That was your call. That was really smart because I would have been pissed if I got pickpocketed.
That would have been bad.
We really didn't. I didn't have anything in my pockets the entire trip, and that felt good, and I felt secure. So shout out to you for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So
a little something.
The next day we woke up really early, and we really went on a tour of the city. We did like
a lot of things in that day. We did Las Ramblas, which is the kind of walkway.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
I would say it's like a more cultural, much smaller Hollywood Boulevard without all the cinematics and all that. Definitely more cultural. Yeah. Like it's almost like Calle Olvera.
Yeah.
On steroids.
Yeah.
But still smaller than Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. Sadly, we were there maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that terrorist attack there, where someone decided to drive their car all the way down Las Ramblas, killing a bunch of people. And there was a memorial there set up at the very beginning of that walk, that path.
Yeah, a lot of people just stood there and were crying. And at one point, like at the first time that we went on Las Ramblas, I remember just looking at the memorial, I started getting like emotional too. And there was like a heavy police presence too.
A bunch of armed guards carrying like M16s and AK-47s. It was strange. Yeah, very strange.
Scary.
Yeah, but
and
on
then
a lighter note,
that led into La
Boqueria.
La
Boqueria.
You almost said it.
I almost got it right.
And what do they have in there?
Paella.
No.
They got those big old pig legs.
Jamon.
Just so it's like a farmer's market. Like if you go to a big city, it's like the Chelsea market, but in Barcelona, where they sell a bunch of foods, like a wide variety of foods. But the most how do I say this?
Prominent.
The most prominent
sold.
item they had there that they sold were these big old jamon legs.
There you go.
How do you say legs in Spanish?
You just say jamon.
Jamon?
I don't know.
And they give you a whole like thigh, remember like in the Flintstones they had those big old brontosaurus burger legs? Yeah, it looked like that.
So it's that on steroids.
Basically.
And basically like people like this is something just culturally that people buy specifically for Christmas. And that's like the big the big meal at Christmas, you bring it and you kind of like shave it off, and the older it is, the better it is. So it could be like a couple of years old.
So meat ages
just like,
and it tastes better?
Yeah, they like, it's just like dried and like salted, and like it's like a couple years old. Yeah, it smells nasty.
Okay.
But it's very prestigious. I don't know what word to use. But.
Yeah. So something else I remember, we had ham and cheese.
Yes, we had to have the ham on.
We had jamón y queso.
There you go.
So that we had that, and I do remember we got to this little area. It was less people there, and we sat down, and I ended up calling my mom on Face. It's like FaceTime for Facebook.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I called her. I video called her on Facebook, basically.
Yeah.
And we chatted with her, and I told her I showed her how I was eating pork. We don't really eat pork, but hey, when in Rome,
you have to.
When in Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Speaking of that, what I did notice is that until I got there, a lot of people say Barcelona. But I remember in high school, my Spanish teacher told me that they speak Catalan over there. So they don't say Barcelona, they say Barcelona.
And it's not like what their entire language that they're speaking. It's not just that word. It's the entire language is Catalan. So it's not Spanish. It's not French. Like for tapas, you know, like what tapas are, right?
Yeah.
So that's Spanish word. Their word for that is pinxtos. I don't know how to say it. I think it's pinxtos.
I wouldn't know how to pronounce
but that's
that.
like, so it's a completely different language. Like it's not just some accent or anything like that. So
it's almost like I don't know, like in Atlanta, we speak that hood language that no one can understand.
I don't understand the sun out. The what? Huh?
Hey, the sun out though. It's just a different dialect.
The sun is out.
The sun is presently outside right now.
Goodness. I can't.
But that's kind of what it is. Just a whole different dialect out there.
It's not even a dialect. It's a whole different language. Yeah.
So that's something I definitely learned.
And they do have French. I noticed on a lot of the signs, it was like
street signs?
Catalan, and then under it was French.
Oh.
Which is weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, we did. So, Las Ramblas, La Boqueria. La Boqueria.
There you go.
Sorry.
Good job.
And then we did Casa Batlo.
Yeah.
Which was.
But we were before that, didn't we after La Boqueria go to like a bar?
Oh, we did go to
the alleyway.
A bar. This was a crazy little short story.
Yeah.
We were basically like sitting there drinking and eating like a little, what do you call it? Like tapas. Yeah. And all of a sudden we see these kids. What happened? These kids ran down an alley.
Right in front of the window that like the window was open. There was no glass. It was just like open.
It was basically
air.
basically outside. We could still see outside. And it was like almost in an alleyway, I would say, because these kids just ran down. And the next thing
super
you know,
fast.
We start seeing and hearing the police come. And it was like a shakedown or something.
Yeah.
I think we came to the conclusion that these kids were like selling or doing drugs. And there was actually like an undercover cop there because I saw a dude in plain clothes. Once he revealed that he was a cop, I saw the badge on his hip, and I saw him like writing a citation or something.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
They definitely have a lot going on over there
it
in
goes
Barcelona.
Down in Barcelona, man.
Barcelona.
So then we did Casa Batlo.
Yeah, we did basically like the Antonio Gaudí, the architecture.
Yeah.
We did like kind of his tour. So we went to Casa Batlo.
And something interesting about that, I remember listening to like the headset they give you throughout the tour, is that there's not one straight line in the entire house.
Yep.
So basically, it was like what was the family? It was the Batlo family, or what? I can't remember. It was some family out there. They owned this house. Remember. They were like a prominent family, like way back whenever. And Gaudi built this house specifically for them. Yep. But in the style, the architecture. There was, again, no straight lines. It was all curvature.
Even like the walls.
Even the walls and the windows.
The tiles on that elevator inside, how they went from light colored tiles at the bottom
to the top,
and dark colored tiles at the top, because it wanted to play off of the light so that you didn't have to use like light bulbs.
Yeah,
and
it was really interesting.
Cool.
And I guess they had it to where, like, if you looked on your phone and you held it up to a specific spot in the house, something that used to be there would pop up, like their dinner table or their bed or their dresser or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting tour.
Yeah. And I remember taking a picture of you in the same spot on the top of the stairs that I took a picture of myself when I went to see it last in like 2012.
Yeah. So it was like,
cool.
it was 5 years since you had been back, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the 5-year difference, we went to Sagrada de Familia.
La Sagrada Familia.
La Sagrada Familia. And they've been building this since the 1700s or something?
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. And there were a couple things that weren't there since the last time you were there.
Right.
And they were still working on it.
Still building it.
It's like a church, isn't it? Or a cathedral or something.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. There's so many intricate details. The statues were incredible.
And the family members are on the front of the
I didn't know that.
cathedral. Yeah.
Now we got to go back. I didn't even know
I
that.
know. So
Wow.
I don't think, did we go inside?
No, we didn't go inside.
Yeah, I think the line was way too long.
The line was too long, probably super expensive, and we just didn't have the time to.
Yeah. But instead, we did the bull.
Oh yeah, we went
ring,
to the bullfighting ring. And
but we didn't watch an actual bullfight.
Why don't you like bullfights?
They make me cry. I watched one when I lived in Granada, and it was the most like terrifying. I'd never processed what it would actually be like, but basically you slowly watch a bull die, like slowly and like bloodily.
Yeah, because they're like hitting him with, what are those things that they throw?
I don't know what they're called, but
throw them into their
huge
necks.
needles,
yeah.
and it just sticks in them, and they're bleeding, and they're still running around trying to get the bullfighter, and they're still. Anyways, I
do know that they use every part of the bull though. They don't just.
Yeah, they say the cola is like the tail is the most sought after part of their body or something like that. So they
I don't know if that's true, but I do remember hearing that they use every part of the bull once it dies. It's just they just don't like throw the body away. So
but in Barcelona specifically, like we definitely couldn't have watched it because they've been protesting that for years.
Because I think so. There's like different regions in Spain. In Granada is Andalusia region. And I think Barcelona, and I could be totally wrong, is Catalunya. So bullfighting is banned in Catalonia.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Am I saying all these words
you
right?
are. You're doing really well.
You know, I still got it 3 years
later.
When
I first met you were like, Granada.
Granada. So American of me.
But now
Granada.
you know.
That's funny. Making fun of me. That was
I mean,
funny.
I just got to throw some shade sometimes.
But anyway, like the bullfighting ring was awesome. Again, the architecture was crazy. It was just us there, and there were like 3 random dudes there, so we had to wait from them because we wanted a picture in the center of the bull ring. But I remember going through the tunnel out into the middle of the ring. That was really cool. Seeing the bullpen was awesome,
and it was cool the way that like the sun was hitting it. The shade was kind of like just barely starting to come into the center of the circle.
Like shifting as the sun would move, and I want to say that's kind of intentional.
Probably, yeah.
You know what? Side story. You used the bathroom, you used the restroom, and you took forever. Like you were in there long that I thought something happened to you.
Oh my god!
Because I was like waiting at the gate for you to get out. I'm like, is she okay? And I don't know if I texted you or not, but I'm like,
oh, you know what? I remember. I think I was waiting for you on the inside.
Oh.
I didn't know you were at the exit.
Yeah, I was at the exit. I'm like, did something happen to my
Yeah,
girlfriend?
We almost lost each other there. Whew! Can you imagine being stuck in a bullfighting ring?
So the last place we went that day, we ended up. What is it called? Where we got the paella?
That was Plaza Real.
Plaza Real.
Well, we also went to Park Güell.
Oh yeah,
that was part of the
Dr.
Antonio Gaudí.
Dr. Seuss land. Again, like a bunch of curves there.
Oh yeah, it's basically a huge park with I don't know, just a bunch of architecture
and crazy looking buildings. It literally looks like
Yeah.
out of Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, for
really
sure.
interesting. But part of it was closed. Remember that? Like there were some parts we couldn't go to, but
because
there was
it was raining, right?
No.
No.
They were they were still doing
right.
construction or something.
Yeah.
So we didn't get the full like experience, but I remember we did get that one picture. Like there was a crowd around this one spot, and everybody wanted a picture there, so we got our picture.
Yeah, at the top of the park.
At the top of it, yeah, that looks down and all that. So that was cool. So that was our day in Barcelona, and then
We had paella. Sorry, I interrupted you on that one.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We had paella at Plaza de Real.
Plaza Real.
Plaza. I want to put "de" in front of everything.
Sagrada de Familia.
I don't know what that's about. It sounds appropriate. Hey, Brenda, if you're listening, let me know how my Spanish is.
Brenda, don't encourage him.
Brenda at my job, she's our podcast producer, and she's a huge supporter of this podcast. So shout out to Brenda real quick. So contrary to what I said before, our flight out of Barcelona to Granada was actually a later flight. It wasn't early in the morning. So we did have time that morning to go to the Gothic Quarter.
Oh my gosh. We couldn't have left Barcelona without seeing the Gothic Quarter. That is the coolest.
She really, really, really wanted me to see that. And we didn't think it was going to happen because it was like raining hard that day. It was raining hard that morning. I remember did we catch a bus? No, we walked. We walked to some cafe.
It was a long walk.
I got my chocolate croissant.
Croissant.
And we stayed in this little this cafe for like maybe an hour or so. We went upstairs and just chilled out and waited for the rain to stop. But thankfully, after the rain stopped, we did have enough time to go to the Gothic Quarter. Mm-hmm. So,
what did you like about the Gothic Quarter?
You know, there is this, like, you hear Gothic Quarter and you see all the gargoyles and the buildings, and I just couldn't help myself. I was like, the whole time I was like,
oh no! Oh my God.
Like
you were so embarrassing.
I couldn't help it. Like, I think Gothic, and that's what I hear in my head, like medieval times. Like,
oh my God! I'm getting flashbacks.
And like,
I was so embarrassed when you literally did that as we were walking down the aisle,
like, the alleyway. So loud! Stop doing that! I'm like, I can't help it. I have no filter. I'm sorry.
Nowhere.
But the Gothic Quarter was really, it's what you think a Gothic Quarter would look like.
All the cathedrals, the gray brick that's turned like black in some portions.
The bridges and the arches between the buildings, linking the buildings together. It looked like castles. It was
like little like icicles were coming from, you know what I mean? Icicles of like concrete, and it's like so eerie.
And then like the different statues that you would see throughout the walk through the Gothic Quarter. And then I think before we left, we were able to get a picture outside of it. Some nice lady took our picture, and then I had to take theirs because that's just how it goes.
Yep.
You reciprocate. And then, I mean, after that, we pretty much went back to the hotel. We didn't have our bags with us. We went back to the hostel, packed again, and headed to the airport to fly to Granada.
Yes,
and
my
city. Her city. So Granada, actually, I'm not going to tell them because, like, you know how it goes. Like, you want people to continue listening to your podcast. You want them to come back next week. So we're going to leave you guys on a little cliffhanger. Just know the next city was Granada.
Yes.
And this is her city.
Yes, it is.
Right?
And I will tell you all about it next episode.
On the next episode of Press Play with Stefani and Tristan and Stefani.
Cut there.
No edits. This is raw and uncut. This is fun. Yeah. Kind of reliving the entire experience, man.
Especially because we're stuck in this quarantine. Like, I love listening and just hearing and reliving our experience.
Yeah, travel stories,
Europe,
man.
Like, I miss
we can
vacations.
go on that. We're stuck in the house, but we can still take ourselves through that journey again, along with our listeners. So this is special. So until next week, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the like button, please. It does mean a lot. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts.
I'm like stuttering.
I'm proud of you for doing this because I wouldn't be able to.
And we're also available on Spotify. Still waiting to get on all the other podcast platforms, but once we're there, we'll definitely let you guys know so you can listen to us anywhere and everywhere.
Thank you for setting that up.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Of course. Until next time, you guys, tune in next week for the Granada episode. Yes. Granada.
Can't wait.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.